third evening of the third edition of Chair Poetry Evenings, Kolkata's own international festival. Today we have five eminent poets reading for us: Ajmer Rode, Nilesh Raghuvanshi, Ganesh Vispute, Prabal Kumar Basu, and Vibhash Roy Chaudhary. We welcome you all. We'll begin with
You.
Ajmer Rode.
Thank you.
Of the third edition of Chair Poetry Evenings, Ajmer Rode currently lives in Vancouver, Canada, and has published books of poetry, drama, prose, and translation in Punjabi and English. Leela, co-authored with Navtej Bharti, is his principal work of poetry. It is more than 1200 pages long and is included in the outstanding works of the 20th century Punjabi poetry for its courage to explore and experiment. His first book of poems, Surti, is credited with introducing computer and postmodern poems into Punjabi poetry. His English poems have been included in reputed anthologies. He's been a recipient of several awards, including the Lifetime Achievement Award from the University of British Columbia, Canada, and the Best Overseas Writer Award from the Language Department of Punjab. Ajmer ji, welcome. Ji Ayanu, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarjeet. I'm very grateful to you and Sonnet for including me in this prestigious poetry event. And it's due to, I guess, your hard work that this virtual meeting has become. It looks very real. And actually, we should also thank COVID-19 for forcing us to invent new ways to get together across oceans and countries, and it's feeling very good. So thank you again. And before I read my poems, I'd like to read you with a brief writer's manifesto. This manifesto is included in our book Leela in the beginning, as mentioned by Sarbjeet. Actually, this is our book which we jointly wrote, and I'll read it from, it's given in Punjabi, but I'll read it in English. So the manifesto is, we believe writers live on earth, not in a country
Yeah,
or in a foreign country. We refuse to accept political boundaries that divide the earth. These boundaries are artificial and drawn with the violence. Our concern is with the solace and suffering of humans, with their passion to live, with the blade of grass that holds on to verdure as the desert advances. So this is a small
एक मिनट इधर आओ,
writer's
इधर आओ, इधर बैठो.
festival. My first poem is Take My Hands. Yeah. Take my two hands, make 8 feet of them. Give them to the spider I soaked in hot water in my kitchen sink. I'll hide my arms in
नहीं
long
क्या है?
sleeves. Will finish the last painting with brush in my teeth. But take my two hands.
बस इतनी सी बात कर दी.
If the spider curled up in silence dies, she'll weave her next web in my soul. Follow me in all the 8,400,000 lives and more. This is one of my poems. It's another poem.
Ajmer ji, can you also read this poem in Punjabi, please?
Okay, sure. I'll just be patient for 2 seconds.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll read it. I didn't expect that I'll be asked to read it. It'll be here Yeah, I got it. Yeah, sorry, I just took a few seconds. The poem in Punjabi reads like, ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਦੋਵੇਂ ਹੱਥ ਲੈ ਲਾ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ 8 ਪੈਰ ਬਣਾ ਦੇ, ਤੇ ਉਸ ਮੱਕੜੀ ਦੇ ਲਾ ਦੇ, ਜਿਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਮੈਥੋਂ ਗਰਮ ਪਾਣੀ ਡੁੱਲ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ। ਅਪਾਜ ਮੱਕੜੀ ਰੋੜ ਵਾਂਗ ਚੁੱਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁੱਛਾ ਮੁੱਛਾ ਹੋਈ ਬੈਠੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੋਝ ਕੁੜਤੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਲੰਮੀਆਂ ਬਾਹਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਢੱਕ ਲਵਾਂਗਾ, ਆਪਣਾ ਅਧੂਰਾ ਚਿੱਤਰ ਮੂੰਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਰੁਸ਼ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਪੂਰਾ ਕਰ ਲਵਾਂਗਾ, ਪਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਦੋਵੇਂ ਹੱਥ ਲੈ ਲਾ। ਜੇ ਮੱਕੜੀ ਗੁੰਮਸੁੰਮ ਉਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਬੈਠੀ ਰਹੀ ਤਾਂ ਮਰ ਜਾਵੇਗੀ, ਮਰ ਕੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਰੂਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਲਾ ਜਾ ਬੁਣੇਗੀ, 84 ਲੱਖ ਜੂਨਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਫ਼ਰ ਕਰੇਗੀ। So that's the Punjabi version.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, Ajmer ji.
Thank you. It's based on a real incident.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure it is.
Felt very guilty, and so I wrote this poem. And then next one is a very small poem. It's a straw in a particle. If you can find a path into it, there's enough space in this particle to stroll for a lifetime. This was inspired by particle physics, actually. So you can do many PhDs on just one particle, I guess.
Yes.
That's what I mean. The third poem is Once She Dreamed. Once she dreamed she was Mileva, the long-haired Serbian girl who married Albert Einstein. She watched when Einstein twisted the absolutely flat space with his hands. She watched when Einstein broke the absolute flow of time into pieces and spun them around at different speeds. That's his relativity. She was there when Einstein reconstructed the shattered universe. And when finally the world came to touch his hands, Mileva smiled and left. She said she still liked to live in her own absolute space and move at her own pace. Once she dreamed she was Frances Gillot, the young woman who married Pablo Picasso. She saw Picasso and his brush tear apart the calm surrounding the objects on his canvas. She saw faces turning into cubes and cones. When Picasso was engulfed in cubes of fame, Gillot left. She said she wouldn't become a cube. Then she dreamed of Jenny, who married Karl Marx. Jenny read stories to her hungry children as Marx fed hungry of the world in his imagination. As his beard curled more and more, Jenny saw Marx grow into a prophet trying to unseat the gods. When infuriated gods came upon him, Jenny stood at the door and wondered, leave or not to leave. Last night she dreamt nothing. The man she married had quietly disappeared, and she says he was confused, depressed, and needed care. A sad vacuum expanded in her and burst. That's this poem. Read one more.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
My next poem is Mustard Flowers. So this has been included in many anthologies. And I read it again and again somehow.
Of course, you should read it again.
Okay, thank you. If you see an old man sitting alone at the bus stop and wonder who he is, I can tell you, he is my father. He is not waiting for a bus or a friend, nor is he taking a brief rest before resuming his walk. He doesn't intend to shop in the nearby stores either. He is just sitting there on the bench. Occasionally he smiles and talks. No one listens. Nobody is interested. And he doesn't seem to care if someone listens or not. A stream of cars, buses, and people flows on the road. A river of images, metaphors, and similes flows through his head. When everything stops at the traffic lights, it's midnight back in his village. Morning starts when lights turn green, when someone honks, his neighbor's dog barks. And when a yellow car passes by, 1,000 mustard flowers bloom in his head. So that's the poem.
That was
Very-
beautiful, Ajmer ji. It's
Thank
of
you very
course
much.
one of my favorite poems. There are many favorites, but we'll come back to them a little later.
Okay.
And I have a question for you. Maybe I'll ask it later. But now we'll move on to Nilesh Raghuvanshi. Nilesh Raghuvanshi is among the most prominent poets writing in Hindi. She's the author of 5 books of poems. She's written plays for children and scripts for telefilms. Her novel, Ek Kasbe Ke Notes, was translated into English as The Girl with Questioning Eyes and published by Permanent Black in 2019. Nilesh has received several awards, including the Bharat Bhushan Agrawal Puraskar, Arya Smriti Sahitya Samman, Kedar Samman, Premchand Smriti Samman, among others. Currently, she works for Doordarshan and is based in Bhopal. नीलेश जी, आपका बहुत स्वागत है. हम आपको सुनने के लिए बहुत आतुर हैं.
जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सरबजीत जी. सबसे पहले तो शुक्रिया चेयर पोइट्री इवनिंग कोलकाता का, जिन्होंने मुझे ये अवसर प्रदान किया कि मैं इतनी सुंदर शाम का हिस्सा बन पाई हूँ. और जैसा कि मैं सुन रही थी, अभी मैं कुछ कविताएं पढ़ती हूँ. मैं हिंदी में ही कविताएं सुनाऊंगी अपनी.
जरूर
जी. कविता का शीर्षक है साइकिल का रास्ता. साइकिल चलाते हुए, जमीन पर रहते हुए भी जमीन से ऊपर उठी मैं. साइकिल चलाते हुए, जमीन पर रहते हुए भी जमीन से ऊपर उठी मैं. अंधे मोड़ को काटा ऐसे कि रास्ता काटती बिल्ली भी रुक गई दम साध कर. ढलान से ऐसे उतरी, समूची दुनिया को छोड़ रही हूँ जैसे पीछे. चढ़ाई पर ऐसे चढ़ी कि पहाड़ों को पार कर पहुंचना है सपनों के टीलों तक.
Wow. Beautiful.
साइकिल चलाते ही जाना, कितनी जल्दी पीछे छूट जाता है शहर. शहर को पार करते हुए जाना, नदी ना होती तो शहर की सांसें जाने कब की उखड़ गई होती.
बहुत अच्छा.
पहला पहिया ना होता तो कुछ करने की, जीतने की जिद ना होती. खड़ी हूं आज उसी सड़क पर, बगल में साइकिल दबाए. पैदल चलते लोगों को देख घबरा जाती हैं अब सड़कें. रास्ता काटने से पहले 10 बार सोचती हैं बिल्लियां. गाय और कुत्ते भी पहले की तरह नहीं बैठते अब सड़क के बीचों बीच. देखा नहीं आज तक सड़क पर किसी बंदर को घायल अवस्था में. मृत्यु का आभास होते ही पेड़ की खोए में चले जाते हैं वे. क्या साइकिल चलाते और पैदल चलते लोग भी चले जाएंगे ऐसी ही किसी खो में? रोप दी जाएगी क्या साइकिल भी किसी स्मृति वन में? साइकिल में जंग भी नहीं लगी और रास्ते पथरीले हुए बिना खत्म हो गए. फिर भी भोर के सपनों की तरह दिखी जाती है सड़क पर साइकिल. एक कविता का शीर्षक है बेखटके. ये 3 कविताएं मैं बता दूं, 3 कविताएं मैं अपने अभी हाल ही कविता संग्रह प्रकाशित हुआ था खिड़की खुलने के बाद से पढ़ रही हूँ, और 2 कविताएं नहीं पढ़ूंगी। तो कविता का शीर्षक है बेखटके। नींद इतनी कम और जलन इतनी ज्यादा कि सड़क किनारे सोते कुत्ते को देख भर जाती हूँ जलन से। इतनी कमियां हैं जीवन में कि पानी के तोड़ को भी देखने लगी हूँ उम्मीद से। अंतिम इच्छा कहें या कहें पहली इच्छा, मैं बेखटके जीना चाहती हूँ। निकलना चाहती हूँ आधी रात को बेखटके, रात 12 का शो देखकर रेलवे स्टेशन पर घूमूं जेब में हाथ डाले। कभी प्रतीक्षालय में जाऊं तो कभी दूर कोने की खाली बेंच को भर दूं अपनी बेखटक इच्छाओं से। इतनी रात गए सूने प्लेटफॉर्म पर समझ ना ले कोई ऐसी वैसी, मैं ऐसी वैसी ना समझी जाऊं और नुक्कड़ की इकलौती गुमटी पर चाय पीते इत्मीनान से खींच सकूं आधी रात का चित्र। क्षितिज के भी पार जा सके मेरी आंख, एक दृश्य रचने के लिए मिले मुझे भी पर्याप्त शब्द और रंग। जरूरत ना हो आधी रात में हाथ में पत्थर लेकर चलने की, आधी रात हो और जीने का पूरा मन हो। कोई मुझे देखे तो देखे एक नागरिक की तरह। ये देह भी क्या तुच्छ चीज है, बिगाड़ कर रख दिए जिसने नागरिक होने के सारे अर्थ। उठती है रीढ़ में एक सर्द लहर, कैलेंडर, होर्डिंग्स, विज्ञापन, आइटम सॉन्ग, पर्दे पर दिखती सुंदर बिकाऊ देह। साइकिल पर पसरे देह के सौंदर्य से चौंधियाती हैं आंखें। देखती हूँ जितना आंख उठाकर झुकती जाती है उतनी ही रीढ़। फिरती हूँ गली गली रीढ़हीन आत्मा के साथ चमकती देह लिए, जाने कौन कब उसे उघाड़ कर रख दे। तिस पर जमाने को पीठ दिखाते आधी रात में बेखटके घूमकर पानी को आकार देना चाहती हूँ मैं। छोटी सी कविता है आधी जगह। जब भी पेड़ को देखती हूँ आधा देखती हूँ, आधा तुम्हें देखने के लिए छोड़ती हूँ। जब भी पेड़ को देखती हूँ आधा तुम्हें देखने के लिए छोड़ती हूँ। हर जगह को आधा खाली रखती हूँ, सिरहाने को भी आधा छोड़ती हूँ तुम्हारे लिए। कभी भी नदी को पूरा पार नहीं कर पाती, आधा पार जो छोड़ती हूँ तुम्हारे लिए। कमल के पत्ते पर पानी कांपता है, चांद कांपता है जैसे राहु के डर से, बसंत के डर से कांपता है जैसे पतझड़। मैं कांपती हूँ आधे पन से, आधे चांद से, जल से भरे आधे लोटे से, कांपती हूँ तुम्हारे आधे प्यार से।
Wow, beautiful. Very nice.
ये आखिरी कविता है इस लोकतंत्र में। कविता का टाइटल है इस लोकतंत्र में। मैं जीना चाहती हूं लेकिन वैसे नहीं जैसे तुम चाहते हो। मैं जीना चाहती हूं लेकिन वैसे नहीं जैसे तुम चाहते हो। मैं पेड़ को पेड़ कहना चाहती हूँ, उसके हरेपन और नए पत्तों में खिल जाना चाहती हूँ। तुम उसके इतिहास में जाकर कहते हो ये हमारे मूल का नहीं। तुम पेड़ की मूल प्रजाति में विश्वास करते हो, मुझे पेड़ के संग हरियाने से रोकते हो। जिस दिन गिलहरी ने अपना घोंसला बनाया पेड़ में, उस दिन से मेरा मन पेड़ के भीतर रहने लगा। गिलहरी कहीं भी किसी भी जगह देश प्रदेश में बना सकती है किसी भी पेड़ पर अपना घर। एक गिलहरी दूसरी गिलहरी से कभी नहीं पूछती तुम्हारा पूरा नाम क्या है।
Wow, beautiful.
मैं नदी सा बहता जीवन जीना चाहती हूँ, तुम हो कि मैं नदी सा बहता जीवन जीना चाहती हूँ, तुम हो कि नदी को घाट से पाट देना चाहते हो। वाल्मीकि घाट पर खड़े हो झांकती हूँ नदी में, तुमने नदी को नदी से पाट दिया। किसी एक को राष्ट्रीय बग्गी में सुशोभित करते हो, किसी एक को राष्ट्रीय बग्गी में सुशोभित करते हो, लेकिन हम सतरंगी सपनों के संग घोड़ी पर भी नहीं बैठ सकते। तुमने हमसे हमारे द्वीप छीने, सारा नमक ले लिया और सबसे ज्यादा खारेपन की उम्मीद हम ही से करते हो। देश का संविधान कहता है हमें वोट देने का अधिकार है। तुम कहोगे लोकतंत्र में ऐसा ही होता है। मैं कहती हूँ जब नदी को नदी, पेड़ को पेड़, और अंधेरे को अंधेरा नहीं कह सकते, तो इस लोकतंत्र में किससे कहूं अपने मन की बात। जी शुक्रिया सरबजीत जी।
नीलेश जी, एक सच्चा
जी
कवि हमें एक चेतना की अवस्था से ऐसी जगह ले जाता है जो बेहद खूबसूरत होती है। आपकी कविताएं भी वही काम करती हैं। बहुत
बहुत
मजा आया
अच्छा,
नीलेश जी।
beautiful.
एंड और अगर आप इजाजत दें तो मैं आपकी कविताओं, 2 कविताओं के अनुवाद पढ़ना चाहूंगा।
अरे मेरे लिए
बहुत
बहुत खुशी की बात हो गई, प्लीज।
जी। Bicycle Path. I've translated 2 poems by Nilesh. This is the first one. Even though riding a bicycle on the ground, I rose above the ground. I rounded a blind turn in such a way that even the cat crossing my way held her breath and stopped in her tracks. I went down the slope as if leaving the whole world behind. I went up the slope as if crossing mountains to reach the hillocks of dreams. Riding a bicycle, how fast you leave the city behind. Leave, crossing the city behind. But for the river, the city would have lost its breath. But for the front wheel, there would have been no will to do something, to win. Pressing the bicycle to my side, I stand on the same road today. Seeing pedestrians, the roads now get scared. Cats think 10 times before crossing someone's way. Cows and dogs no longer sit in the middle of the street. I've never seen an injured monkey on the road. Sensing death, monkeys go into tree hollows. Will those on the bicycle and on foot also go into one such hollow? Will the bicycle be sown in some memory forest? The bicycle didn't even rust. The roads ended without turning rocky. Even then, there's no mistaking the bicycle on the road like a dream at dawn.
Good.
beautiful.
Move on to the next poem. Half a place.
What, sir?
Half a place. Aadhi jagah.
Right, yeah.
Whenever I look at a tree, I look at half of it and leave the other half for you to see.
Very nice.
I keep all space half empty, even leave half the pillow for you. I'm never able to cross the river fully because I leave the other half for you.
For you.
Water shivers on a lotus leaf. The moon trembles as if in fear of Rahu. Just like dreading spring, autumn shudders, I shudder thinking about halfness. Thinking about the half moon, the half-filled lota. I shudder thinking about your half love. Thank you.
Nice. Beautiful.
थैंक यू सरबजीत जी।
Very good. Very good.
बहुत
Very
सुंदर।
nice.
Very good.
Move on to Ganesh Vispute. Ganesh Vispute is a poet, painter, and translator. He writes in Marathi. He's the author of 7 widely acclaimed books, which include 3 poetry collections, 3 translations, and a collection of personal essays. His poems have been translated into English and Hindi. He is a recipient of several awards, including State Government of Maharashtra Award, Anandvay Puraskar, Kavi Shailendra Puraskar, Anant Kanekar Award, Kavi Keshav Sud Puraskar, among others. He also received a senior fellowship from the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. In 2015, he returned all the awards received from the government of Maharashtra in protest of the murders of Govind Pansare, Narendra Dabholkar, and M.M. Kalburgi. Ganesh, आपलं स्वागत आहे. Ganesh ji, please unmute yourself.
Hello, hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Sarabjit. Thank you for inviting me here in this poetry festival. Thank you, Chair Poetry, Kolkata Chair Poetry. I'm privileged to be in the company of great voices of poetry of the world. I'll read my poems in Marathi and then read some translations of original poems. So this is the first poem. Last 8 or 9 months have given us time to think and rethink about relationship with the world, with our friends, with our dear ones, and we take them for granted as if they are going to be with us forever. But they leave. This time has proved that they leave, and they leave voids in our life. So this is a very small poem. I'll read it in Marathi first. It's called Hatचा नसलेला एक. आत्ता बरोबर इतके वाजलेत. यावेळी हा मित्र किंवा ही मैत्रीण नकाशावरच्या अमुक ठिकाणच्या बिंदूवर अमुक प्रकारच्या उजेडात वा अर्धकाळोखात, खुर्चीवर, बेडवर, पायरीवर, रस्त्यावर, टेबलाशी, कामात वा आळसात असेल. आपण पाहिलेल्या नेपथ्यात याची खात्रीच असते आपल्याला. गृहीतकाच्या सुतानं आपण गाठत असतो स्वर्ग त्यांच्या अस्तित्वाच्या खात्रीचा. आपल्याला न सांगता सवरता ते करतील आत्महत्या, लावून घेतील फास गळ्याला, जीव देतील पुलावरून नदीत उडी मारून, विष घेऊन, किंवा इमर्जन्सीत उपचारात शिवाय जातील मरून. हा हातचा नसलेला एक अंदाज जमेसच धरलेला नसतो आपण. त्यांचे श्वास चालूच राहतात आपल्यात. त्यांच्या नाकपुड्यात कापूस भरल्यानंतरही आपण विसरून गेलेलो असतो त्यांना विचारणं, कसे आहात, कुठे आहात, कुठे जाणार आहात. तोवर ते नाहीसेच होतात, निरंगी हवेत विरघळून जातात. आपल्या आतल्या त्या एका जागेला निर्वात आणि निराकार करून, जिथून त्यांनी घेतलेला असतो निष्ठुरपणे टेक ऑफ. Now I'll read the translation of this poem. That unspared one we had never thought of. It's sharp this o'clock at this hour. This or this friend or girlfriend may be at a certain spot, at a particular place on the map, in a certain kind of light, in semi-darkness, on the chair, on the bed, on a stair, on the road, at the table, at work, or maybe lying down lazily, having seen them in the backdrop light. You're sure of all this. With the guesswork from your assumptions, you track down the heaven of certainty of their existence, that they'll commit suicide without giving us even a faintest hint, or they'll tighten the noose around their necks and hang themselves, or will jump into some river from some bridge and commit suicide, or will consume poison, or will die in an emergency ward untreated. This speculation, the unspared one, you have never considered at all. Even after their noses are plugged with cotton balls, they continue to breathe in our breathing. You have forgotten to ask them where and how they are, and what, and that where are they to go now? But by then they disappear. They vaporize into air, turning into formless void that space within them, from where they have resorted to a ruthless takeoff. And this is my second poem called in Marathi. Mag halu halu to tappa yetos. I'll read the Marathi version first. मग हळूहळू तो टप्पा येतोच, जेव्हा तुम्ही तुमच्यापासून लपवलेल्या गोष्टी पाहू शकता. ज्या दाखवण्यासाठी खास दाखवल्या जातात त्या तुम्हाला बिनमहत्वाच्या वाटू शकतात. तुम्ही पाहिले जाता आणि पाहणारे दिसत नाही असं होत नाही. नगरातून फिरताना आम्रपालीला बरोबर माहिती असायचं की आत्ता या क्षणी कोणत्या गवाक्षातून तिच्यावर नजर रोखलेली आहे. एक टप्पा येतोच आणि कर्णेंद्रियांच्या हद्दीपल्याडचं तुम्हाला ऐकू येऊ लागतं. कुजबूज, खलबत, किंकाळ्या, स्फोट आणि आक्रोश लख्ख ऐकू येऊ लागतात. लक्षावधी कुत्र्यांच्या एकत्रित गंधशक्तीच्या क्षमतेनं वास येतो, कारस्थानांचा आणि अफवांचा. झोपेतही ओळखू शकता तुम्ही मानेवरच्या सुरीची पोलादी थंडगार धार स्पर्शाशिवाय. दिसतात ते रंग खरे नाहीत, खरे रंग त्या रंगांना आड आहेत. हे जाणवतच तुम्हाला रंगसप्तकाचं कोडं उलगडल्याशिवायही. वाढल्या गेलेल्या अन्नात उतरलेला किरणोत्सार किंवा उद्याच्या दुपारची उन्ह लागलेल्या मद्याच्या थेंबाची नेमकी चव कळून गेलेली असते आधीच. हेही कळतच या टप्प्यावर की निष्पाप असं काहीच उरलेलं नाही आणि पापात घनघोर भिजूनच गेलेले आहेत सर्वजण, सर्वत्र, सर्व काळ. And slowly that phase appears is the title of the poem. And slowly that phase appears when you can actually see the things hidden away from you. The things on display to show off are not important for you anymore. You're in. Now it is not possible that the viewers are unseen. While roaming through the town, Amrapali would know exactly that very moment from which window someone is staring at her. That phase appears when you actually can hear the sounds beyond the oral limits. Whispers and wails, shriek and scream could be heard clearly. You can smell conspiracies and rumors with cumulative smelling power of thousands of dogs. Even in the sleep, you can make out the cold, sharp edge of still knife touching on your neck. Colors are not colors, they are beyond colors. You know this even without unraveling the puzzle of spectrum. You already apprehend the radioactivity penetrated in the food served or the exact savor of wine placed in the sunshine of tomorrow's noon. Also you know this, that nothing remains innocent at this phase. And we all are drenched in sins for eternity. This is my third poem. Governments of many countries try to send spacecrafts to the moon, to the planets. We have also witnessed last year that we also sent Chandrayaan to the moon. And for that, I thought I should write a poem. And I wrote this poem, चांद्रयानाच्या ऊर्ध्वगामी उड्डाणाच्या बरोबर विरुद्ध. चंद्राच्या भूमीपासून पृथ्वीवरच्या या उजाड भूमीपर्यंत खूप अंतर आहे. चंद्राच्या भूमीपासून पृथ्वीवरच्या या उजाड भूमीपर्यंत खूप अंतर आहे, ज्यावर असतच एक उभं वाळलेलं झाड आणि झाडाच्या कृश फांद्यावर लटकणारा फास, ज्यातून नुकतेच हजारो शेतकऱ्यांनी घेतले आहेत अखेरचे श्वास. चांद्रयानाच्या ऊर्ध्वगामी उड्डाणाच्या बरोबर विरुद्ध खोल खोल विवरात आहेत गटार, मिथेन आणि विषारी वायून भरलेली, जिथं आजही मरतात माणसं माणसांची घाण उपसत. त्या घाणीत खरं तर घालायला हव्यात पद्मश्रेया, अर्जुन पुरस्कार आणि भारतरत्न वेचून क्रिकेटाची रातकिड्यांची. 6 षटकारात मिळतात जिथं बेफाम दौलती आणि खासदारक्या, तिथं उरीपोटी धावतायत विशीतल्या मुली, ज्यांनी अनवाणी धावून ओलांडली आहेत अनंत अरण्य. आधीच धावतायत त्या रक्त ओकेसतो या आशेनं की धावून धावून शेवटाला तरी मिळेल चतुर्थ श्रेणी कर्मचाऱ्याची नोकरी. माहीत आहे की हे सांगणारी होऊ शकत नाही कविता, पण जर मिथेनचा विखार आणि अनवाणी पायातल्या काट्यांच्या जखमा सांगताच येत नसतील तर काय जाळायची आहे कविता. And now the translation of this poem, Downward Plunge Opposite the Mooncraft. There is a vast distance between the moon and this arid land on the earth, on which stands a leafless tree, and on the skeletal bough of the tree hangs a noose, in which thousands of farmers have stiflingly breathed their last. Precisely opposite the upward flight of the mooncraft, deep down in the abysmal depths, full of methane and poisonous gases, where even today men die scoping the refuge of men. In fact, all honors like Padma Shri, Arjuna Awards, and Bharat Ratna, along with cricket and the drone of its excitement, should be thrown away into that field. In a land where continuous sixers fetch the booty of limitless wealth and make one a member of parliament, there in that land, panting, gasping, breathlessly run athlete girls in their 20s, who have already traversed infinite forests bare feet. They run till they omit blood. They run with a mad hope that running like this will fetch them at least a class 4 servant's job. I know that which reflects all this cannot become a poem, but then if you cannot narrate the poison in methane, nor can you unfold the wounds from thorn pricks in the bare feet, then what worth is a poem? Burn it away.
Thank you, Ganesh ji, for those
And this
beautiful
is the
poems.
last.
Beautiful.
We are running short of time, so
Thank you.
we have to stop here. Please excuse us.
Okay, I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sarabji. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll now move on to Prabal Kumar Basu. Prabal Kumar Basu started writing poetry from the beginning of the 80s. He has published 19 volumes of poetry, 4 collections of essays, 2 collections of short stories, and a collection of verse drama. He has 3 collections of his poems translated into English. Mr. Basu edited the Yapan Chitra anthology of essays, which had writers. He is the founder trustee and was founder secretary of the Kolkata International Foundation for the Arts, Literature and Culture, an organization formed by leading intellectuals of Kolkata with a view to providing a common platform to creative minds. He also edited Signposts, an anthology of Bengali poetry in English translations since independence. He is a recipient of the State Academy Award for Poetry and has read his poems at many national and international poetry festivals. Over to you, Mr. Basu. Welcome again.
Thank you, Sarabjit. And thank you to this Care Poetry Evening Festival. And thanks especially to Sonnet for inviting me here. This Care Poetry is almost becoming synonymous with Calcutta's Poetry Festival skyline, I should say. And as Ajmer ji said, this year due to the COVID, we are in the virtual platform, but this virtual is actually becoming real now.
Right.
I will be reading. I will start my reading with a Bengali poem, and then the translation of it, and then I'll be reading 3-4 poems in English translations. Andher Ishwar. ফুটপাতে চক্করি দিয়ে একজন অন্ধ ঈশ্বরকে আঁকছিল, পাশে দাঁড়িয়ে এক ভিখিরি ছেলে। আঁকা শেষ হতেই বলল, ঈশ্বর কোথায়? এ তো ভগবানের মুখ। মুখটা মুছে অন্ধ আবার আঁকতে শুরু করলো। দ্বিতীয়বার আঁকা হতেই ছেলেটি হাসতে লাগলো খুব। এবারও হয়নি, এ তো যিশুর মুখ। দ্রুত মুছে ফেলে অন্ধটি আবার আঁকতে শুরু করলো ঈশ্বরকে। এইভাবে অন্ধটি যতবার ঈশ্বরকে আঁকার চেষ্টা করলো, কারো না কারো মুখের আদল হয়ে যাচ্ছে, এই অজুহাতে ছেলেটি বাতিল করে দিতে থাকলো ঈশ্বরকে। সারাদিন ভুল ছবি আঁকতে আঁকতে ক্লান্ত অন্ধটি শেষে এঁকে ফেললো নিজের মুখ আর চোখ দুটো অন্ধ করে দিল। বাহবা দিয়ে উঠলো ছেলেটি, অবিকল ঈশ্বরের মুখ হয়েছে। So now I read the translation of this poem. The name of the title of the poem is Blinds God. With a lump of chalk clay in hand, a blind man was trying to draw God on the pavement. With a beggar boy watching him closely, as soon as the drawing was finished, the boy shouted, "Where is God?" This is the face of the Almighty. Erasing the face, the blind started drawing again. The second time as he was done, the boy broke into laughter. "You are wrong again. This is the face of Jesus." Wiping it out swiftly, the blind again started creating the God. In this manner, every time the blind tried to draw God, it became the face of someone else. And the boy, on this pretext, went on rejecting God. Tired of drawing the wrong picture the whole day, the blind at last ended up drawing his own face and made the eyes visionless. The boy applauded. This is how God looks. My second poem, A Day in the Mundane Life. Fidel wakes up early in the morning. He has this habit of going for a morning walk, just like me. We bump into each other quite often. We greet each other. I know him by face for a long time now, but never had a heart-to-heart talk with him. When I wanted to know his name, he asked me to call him Fidel. Once on a winter evening, a man came looking for me. After repeated assertions, he still couldn't believe it was me who bore my name. wanted to see my identity card, said he had traveled from very far, mentioned his name was Shakespeare.
Oh,
One day I came to know Lenin, the man who brings milk to my house regularly, though he could not properly manage to pronounce his full name. A beggar was smoking weed in the dark. His face was covered in an unkempt beard. When caught, he spoke in a serious tone. I know you can't recognize me. People call me God. A traffic police once caught me jumping the traffic signal. Poor fellow had heard of Jivanananda but didn't know anything more. Posing as Jivanananda Das saved me from punishment that day. I share my mundane life, as like many others, with Fidel, Shakespeare, Lenin, God, Jivanananda. Only once a lunatic had arrived in this ordinary life and claimed he was my namesake and even writes poetry. That was the only time I felt little discomforted.
very nice. Beautiful.
Ranjit, do I have some time?
Yes, I think we have time for one more.
Okay. Okay. Why do you ask? When I have spoken, a lot remained untold. Why do you ask? What I have seen, I missed out much more. Why do you ask? Whatever I have written is minuscule compared to what I did not. Why do you ask? What I comprehend is way below what I did not. Why do you ask? What I have given is much less than what was not offered. Why do you ask? What I have learned has left behind scores of lessons. Why do you ask? What I have built, I have wrecked much more, still keeping faith in me. Thanks, Arijit. I think we are running short of time.
Very nice.
Sarabjit,
Beautiful. Sarvjit, you are mute.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for those magnificent poems, Mr. Basu.
Beautiful.
Why do you ask? Splendid.
Yeah.
We now move on to Bibhash Roy Chaudhary. Bibhash Roy Chaudhary is a Bengali poet, novelist, and essayist. He's the author of more than 20 books, including
Wow.
5 novels and numerous essays published in various Bengali literary magazines. He's received many awards, including Bangla Sahitya Academy, Bangla Academy Award, Kritibas Award, and Nirmal Acharya Gold Medal for Poetry. Some of his poems have been translated into English by Kiriti Sen Gupta and published as Poem Continuous, Reincarnated Expression, 2014. He's also one of the chief advisors of the Bengali literary magazine Kobita Ashram and founding member and director of a theatrical troupe named Bangla Natya Charcha Kendra. He now works for a publishing house. आपका स्वागत है बिभाष जी, over to you.
My regards to all of you. Many, many thanks to Sonnet. I think poetry is nothing but a belief about yourself, about society, and about this universe. I will read some poems about you and the nature. My first poem is You. It's not about the crazy wind, nor about the rain, but it's all about you. It's not about whether I win you or not, but it's all about you. It's neither about your hair nor your kiss or the oyster I found in your body. It's only about you. You are the lonely street which, coming out of sleep, could never recognize me, could never recognize me. Plant comes first. Man has forgotten all. Man has forgotten all. He remembers no longer. Children have clung to the chopped down trees. You can call their tears the dumbest mourner. Is this earth only for man? This universe says the supreme, man insignificant. Those who sob, embracing the trees, fail. Man comes mass later on earth. First comes plant. First comes plant. Oh man, mafia man, you will soon die out. Days are counted in your hand. Stand at sunset. Behold, the birds, as if wiping their bleeding beaks on the trees along the Jeshore road that stand. Plant comes first. Is this earth only for the man? Letter from Ripon Arjo. He is written to my daughter his first greeting. We came across him at Bolpur. Back home, we got his postcard. I called my little daughter out and read her the letter out. Mritika, it is who called you for the first time. He is called yet again. This time for all the children. There are few people who are nothing but children, as their heart is still wet like soil. The birds still nest in them. The life water still flows in them, and their eyes are still full of hope. May they be child forever. What's Ripon written this time? Well, he writes, they are going to kill thousands of trees. I am all upset. I swear on my tears. Do something, please. On hearing the uproar, even those who are eating up the earth daily as they wish can see unknown ones like Shudha and all have clung to the trees. They won't let anybody cut the trees anymore. Not stepped into the street yet. He asks from the post office. Letter from Ripon Arjo comes every day, again and again, again and again.
Bibhas ji, sorry to interrupt you. Would you please read at least one poem in Bengali?
Yes. শেষ কবিতা এটা, লাস্ট পোয়েম ইন বেঙ্গলি। দাও, এমন জন্মাবো যাতে গাছেদের আঘাত না লাগে। আকাশে পাখির ডানা স্বাভাবিক থাকে এমন জন্মাবো, এমন জন্মাবো, গর্তে গর্তে পিঁপড়ের উৎসব, দিগন্তে আগুন দাও, নেই যেন কোথাও প্রসব। আমার শরীর নেই, ধূলিকণা আছে পৃথিবীর, আর আছে গন্ধে গন্ধে নিরালার সমস্ত পাগল। একটি নদী ধীরে এসে চাঁদ খেয়ে লুটোয় বালিতে, এমন জন্মাবো আমি, এমন জন্মাবো কোনোদিন, এমন জন্মাবো আমি, কোনো জন্মদিন নেই যার। মৃত্যুর মতোই আমি এমন জন্মাবো বারবার। থ্যাংক ইউ।
Thank you, Vibhash ji. That was magnificent. I have a few questions for maybe each one of you. We'll start with Ajmer ji. Ajmer ji, it seems, you see, reading Leela, it seems you're moving from poem to poem. It's like you live life from poem to poem. I heard you speak last year and you said you once took a workshop where you asked the students to finish a poem in 30 minutes. Then you decreased the time to 20 minutes. And then you moved down to 10 minutes. And that was, I think, a workshop on writing poetry.
Yeah, creative writing.
In a world where we have poets who lay so much emphasis on revision, do you think this technique always works?
Yes, and one day the teacher, the painter who was teaching us painting, she said, her name was Betsy Lewis. Yeah, Betsy Lewis. She said, do this painting in 10 minutes. So everybody was kind of stunned, but they tried and we tried. And then she said, do it in 5 minutes. And then we still did it. And then I thought, why not try a poem in 5 minutes or 10 minutes? And she said, it's impossible. You know, poem involves thoughts. It's not just the colors and your feeling. And nonetheless, I came back home and I wrote 10 poems in 1 hour. You may not call them poems at all, but there was something. And it was more an experiment in psychology, how your brain, how your mind works when you write a poem. So even in 5 minutes, in our book Leela, there are some poems who were written in 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but revised in hours, later on. Anyway, I think this is one of the aspects of poetry, that it's so wide. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that's a great way of overcoming writer's block also. Once
Yes,
you're
yeah.
out of that zone of fear and uncertainty, you see, imposing that timeline might work. Yes.
Yeah, it is kind of anti-poetry, but still, you can experiment it, and it's funny, it works. Sometimes and the poem finishes. That's what I experienced. I never expected that when you, in 10 minutes or even in 5 minutes, you start a poem, some idea, just anything at random, and it just rounds off towards that end of time.
As if some poems, they come to you finished.
Yeah,
already.
it might seem nonsensical, but still.
No, it doesn't. So thank you very much. I think that's an insightful answer. We'll move on to Nilesh ji. मैं आपसे एक बात पूछना
जी।
चाहता हूँ। मेरा मानना हमेशा ये रहा है कि कवि औरों के बेहतर ज्यादा अच्छा गद्य लिखते हैं। क्या आप भी ऐसी मानती हैं? मैंने आपकी उपन्यास पढ़ा है और मैं उसे अंग्रेजी में भी पढ़ना
जी।
चाहता हूँ ताकि उसका अंग्रेजी में भी
जी।
स्वाद लिया जा सके, लेकिन वो कमाल का उपन्यास था, कमाल का, और मुझे वो पढ़कर लगा कि एक कवि ही ऐसा उपन्यास लिख सकता है।
जी, अभी आपने इस बात का जवाब दिया, बहुत सुंदर सरबजीत जी। आपने कहा ना कि मैं अंग्रेजी में भी पढ़कर उसका स्वाद लेना चाहता हूँ। तो ये जो है ना, कवियों के पास अब कहना चाहिए स्वाद होता है कि ना, और जीवन को देखने का नजरिया और पहले कहा जाता था कि कविता का निकष नाटक है, लेकिन आधुनिक जीवन में कहा गया कि एक कवि का निकष गद्य है। तो शुरू से सुनते भी आए हैं कि जब तक अगर आप गद्य अच्छा लिख रहे हैं तभी आपको माना जाएगा, या बचपन से जब से साहित्य की दुनिया में प्रवेश किया है तो अपने अग्रजों से सुनने में मुझे हमेशा कई बार सुना कि अच्छे कवि का निकष जो है गद्य होता है। लेकिन फिर भी हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि कवियों का गद्य अलग होता है, उनका चीजों का ट्रीटमेंट करने का तरीका अलग होता है, दुनिया को देखने का तरीका अलग होता है। और एक हम जब एक कवि को आदत होती है कविता लिखने की, तो मुझे लगता है कि शायद वो फैलाता बहुत कम है, चीजों को समेटने की कोशिश करता है, कम से कम चीजों में चित्र खींचेगा, दृश्य के माध्यम से या दो पंक्तियों के बीच के माध्यम से वो अपनी बात कहता है। मुझे लगता है शायद ये सारा जो टूल्स हैं, ये सारे शायद गद्य में लिखते समय आते होंगे, उसमें अपचेतन में रहते होंगे, इसलिए ऐसा होता होगा। और संसार में कविता से ज्यादा सुंदर कुछ भी नहीं है, ये हम सभी जानते हैं और मानते भी हैं। कहा जाता सर्वश्रेष्ठ विधा कविता है। तो
मतलब आपका भी मानना है कि गद्य लिखे बगैर कभी बच नहीं सकता, कभी पूरा
कभी
नहीं
बच नहीं सकता, कभी पूरा नहीं होता है। तो और ये कोई सोच के भी नहीं होता है कि अगर हमें कवि बनना है तो उपन्यास लिखना होगा या गद्य लिखना। गद्य नेचुरली लिखना चाहिए कवियों को, लेकिन मैंने ऐसा सोचा नहीं था कि मैं उपन्यास लिखूंगी। बस एक घटना थी कई बरस पहले की, वो मुझे इतनी ज्यादा हॉन्ट की कि जो उसमें जो मूल कैरेक्टर पिता का है, उस कैरेक्टर का जो जज्बा था और जो उसका लाइफ स्टाइल था, उसने मुझे इतना हंट किया कि क्या आदमी है, सिवाय अपने सबके बारे में सोचता है। तो ग्रेट है, इस पर तो एक उपन्यास जरूर लिखूंगी मैं, चाहे कुछ हो जाए। तो वो कई बरस पहले की घटना थी, उसने मुझे इतना हंट किया, तो मैंने एक उपन्यास लिखा। और चूंकि मैंने पहले कभी लिखा नहीं था, तो मुझे उसके कुछ भी नियम कानून कहते हैं जो भी, वो नहीं पता थे। तो मैंने जिस ढंग से मैं एक कस्बे के नोट्स, इसलिए उसका नाम दिया है। वो नोट्स नुमा लाइफ स्टाइल थी, और उस जो जैसी लाइफ थी, बस मैंने उसमें ये कोशिश, जो जैसा था उसको जस का तस रखने की कोशिश की है कि रीडर और जो लाइफ वहां की है उसके बीच में, लेखक बीच में ना आए, वो सीधे एक दूसरे से कनेक्ट हो सके। ये मेरी कोशिश कविता में भी होती है और गद्य में भी होती है।
नहीं, हम आपके गद्य और पद्य दोनों से उसी तरह कनेक्ट होते हैं नीलेश जी। और
थैंक यू।
मुझे पर्सनली आपके अगले उपन्यास का बेसब्री से इंतजार रहेगा
जी, मोस्ट
सालों
प्रोबेबली
बाद। मैंने इतना
21 में आ जाएगा। 2020 में ही आना था, लेकिन कोरोना के चलते नहीं आ पाया।
बहुत
मैंने
खुशी।
पब्लिश, हाँ जी, प्रकाशनाधीन है, वो भेज चुकी हूँ मैं, और मुझे लगता है, उम्मीद है कि शायद 2021 में आ जाए।
नहीं, बहुत हमें प्रतीक्षा रहेगी। बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
गणेश जी, you are a prolific translator. Please unmute yourself, Ganesh ji. Ganesh ji, could you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, I did.
You are a prolific translator. You've translated several works into Marathi, which is your native language.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
coming to the translations of Hindi works into Marathi, personally, I've seen Marathi readers are well versed in Hindi. They can read Hindi very well. Why do you think there is a need to translate something that can be easily read by readers into Marathi? Hindi works, especially Hindi poems.
Yes, in a way, it's true. And I have been translating from Hindi since I started writing poetry for the last 35 years, more than 35 years. A town where I was born and spent almost three decades. The people around me were used to speak Hindi and Urdu. So I had close contact with this language since my childhood. And in my early teens, we had an access to many Hindi magazines. So I used, Hindi was my language I loved the most in my early teens. And then when I learned a lot and I read more Hindi literature, I came to know that Hindi has a long tradition, progressive tradition, and in every generation, Hindi young generation gives surprises, and they knew something. They give something new. So I thought this should be brought into our language. And the point is here that knowing Devanagari and the difference between knowing Devanagari and knowing some other language in the same script is not the same thing.
You're
It's
talking about
misconception that
talking about nuances.
yeah, nuances. So many times this misconception gives bad translations. So
Okay.
it has been proved in the
That's been
past.
proved. Okay.
And we in Marathi are doing translation since late quarter of 19th century. This is not new, because
Okay.
many great fiction and poetry literature has come into Marathi from last 150 years. But I know I read Hindi literature quite a lot, and I want to bring the best out of that, and that is selfishness. You may say that, because I also want to enrich my own language in a way, and not that I have also translated from English and Latin American literature, but I'm also connected with a translation center which I head, Antar Bharati Anuvad Suvidha Kendra, where we invite people from various languages or Indian languages. We ask them to sit there, stay with us, do some work. And in this way, I'm connected with all Indian languages and the writers working in various languages. So that's a part of that. And I think Hindi is a prominent major language of India. So,
Definitely.
and
Definitely.
I know Hindi from inside. So I think I should translate that.
Definitely. We are satisfied with your answer. Yeah, I think you've given us a very thoughtful answer. I have studied post 1990 Marathi poetry, and you see, you also belong to that generation. You see, so who,
Right.
according to you, are the top poets, Marathi poets writing today? From that post
From
1990.
Post 1990, there are various many poets who are now writing good poems, good poetry. In the first generation of post 1990, there is Varjesh Solanki, who writes well, and Mangesh Kale. Mangesh writes well, and he has published many collections. He has been translated into English also.
Right.
So there are Praful Chiledar and Dinkar Manwar. There are many people after 1990 who are still writing well.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh Vispute. Moving on to you, Mr. Basu. What is it about Calcutta that, you see, infuses the very air with poetry? I mean, how do we have so prolific poets from Calcutta? You are one of them, of course.
No, it has a long history. You know, if you talk about poetry and Calcutta, we have to go back to Tagore.
No, maybe if I ask you to answer me in just say 2 or 3 sentences, how will you explain that to, say, a newcomer? Say someone who's a 14-year-old lad living in Delhi, who knows nothing about Calcutta, but is intrigued.
See, there are 2-3 things. You know, one is the heritage. We have the legacy, not the heritage, the legacy. We have the first, one of the pioneer poets, all India basis poets who are writing in Bengali and started from Calcutta. Number one. Number two, we have a culture of little magazine. We have a little magazine movement, which is a huge movement, which is basically what we call the breeding ground for the young poets, which is normally not seen in any other state. It's a very, very specific culture of Calcutta.
We see that a lot in Marathi also. Maybe Mr. Vispute will corroborate it. I have seen that myself. But yeah, not to the extent it is in Calcutta and in Bengali, of course.
Yes, we have about more than 4,000 little magazines coming out every year. 4,000. I mean, so So that spirit is there, and we have
Yes.
so many, so many, what should I say, so many promotional prize awards and so many promotional activities for the poetry, which is very different and which is very unique. And I travel to all over India, and I'm staying in Delhi. I share my time between Kolkata and Delhi nowadays. Nowadays means since last 10, 12 years. So this is something unique which is there in the air, we say, as you rightly said. And mostly it's basically everywhere there is poetry, in wherever you go, in every cultural events we find some sort of poetry element is there. And I personally believe it is all started from, we had Tagore from here, from Calcutta. So he had a great influence in this culture.
So there's a message for other languages. You see, they should definitely cultivate an atmosphere where little magazines thrive.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Basu.
Thank you.
Moving on to you, Mr. Bibhash Roy Chaudhary. You work for a publishing house, so I'm sure you are aware of the current trends. What is the ratio of poetry versus prose that you get to look at?
Poetry always big clear ki selling point of this poetry is not good as prose, but it is a story of marketing. Bengali people loves poetry, but poetry books are not so sold. It's a marketing policy.
That's the case with, I think, all the languages. Maybe even Mr. Rode will agree to that. Mr. Rode, you see, what is the scene of poetry books in Punjabi? Do they sell a lot?
They do a lot, but market is not influencing it that much in Punjabi. Of course, it does, every language. But in Punjabi, a lot is being written, and there doesn't seem to be any specific kind of something we can say that this is the largest influence on Punjabi poetry writing. That's just going on by itself, kind of. Used to be political, Naxalite movement influenced it greatly, and the progressive movement and all these movements. But nowadays, there doesn't seem to be any one specific or dominant influence.
And actually, we are grateful for that, because there is no dominating influence that has, in a way, set us all free. So we now wind up this session, and thank you very much for your presence. It was highly enriching, and the power and magic of your benign words will stay with us for months to come. Thank you for being here. It was a pleasure listening to you all. Thank you very much.